Tam Deshikendram Paramam Pavitram Vishwesya Palam Madhuram Yatindram Hitaya Nirnam Naramurtimantam Vivekanam Tam Aham Namami Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Surai Satchit Sukha Sarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. To the teacher of teachers, supremely pure, the guardian of the world, the sweet one, the prince of yogins, who took up the human form for the good of mankind, to that Vivekananda I prostrate myself. Salutations to the king of renouncers and controller of passions, the sage Vivekananda, who is Satchidananda itself, the spiritual preceptor, the remover of distress. We salute him. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be good. This morning our subject is some new findings about Vivekananda. Today is Swami Vivekananda's birthday. So today is the anniversary service. Swami Vivekananda is a wonder. Wonder means that which arouses awe, astonishment, surprise, or admiration in human mind. There are many wonders in the world, we know. The Pyramid of Egypt, the Hanging Garden of Babylon, Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China. When we see this huge creation, we wonder, is it possible that human beings created all these things? Similarly, our logic says every creation has a creator. Without creator, there cannot be any creation. So when we see the sun, the moon, the stars, the ocean, the vast mountain, we wonder, who is the creator? Swami Vivekananda was born on 12th January 1863, passed away 4th of July 1902. He lived in this world 39 years, 5 months, 24 days. He said, I shall never see 40. His life was very short, but his achievement is so great that it really creates an awe in our minds. He finished his college in 1884, became a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and learned from him and served his guru till 1886. After the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, he established Sri Ramakrishna Math. Then he became an itinerant monk, traveled all over India from 1888 to 1893. Then he came to America. He represented Vedanta or Hinduism at the Parliament of Religions of Chicago in September 1893 and became very famous. Then he traveled Europe and America extensively and preached Vedanta, the universal religion. Then he returned to India in 1897. He regenerated India through his clarion call and awakened their national consciousness. Again, in June 1899, Swamiji came again back to America and lived in this country 1.5 years. At this time, he generally stayed in the West Coast, Los Angeles and San Francisco. Then he returned to India, died in July 1902. We see Swamiji at the parliament when he was 30 years old and died in 39. Among these 9 years, 2-3 years he was sick. So actually he worked 6 or 7 years. And do you know what did he say? I have given enough for 1500 years to the thinking humanity, which is a wonder. The man who worked only 7 or 6 or 7 or 8, 7 years, he says, I have given enough for thinking humanity for 1500 years. It is not possible to say everything, but if you wish, you can go through the life and works of Swamiji. Sometimes we see a person's achievement through his works. You can read his 2 volumes biography, Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda's lives by his Eastern and Western disciples. 9 volumes of complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Sister Nivedita wrote 2 volumes, The Master as I Saw Him and Notes of Some Wanderings in the Himalayas. Then Swamiji's brother Mahendranath Gupta wrote 7 volumes on Swamiji in Bengali. And his younger brother wrote another big volume, Vivekananda, Patriot Prophet, in English. Then Mary Louise Burke wrote 6 huge volumes, Vivekananda in the West, New Discoveries. Shankari Prasad Bosu wrote 7 volumes, Vivekananda Samakalin Bharatvarsha, Vivekananda and Contemporary India. That book got the Academy Prize from the President of India. And many other books came in the name of Swamiji. When we read those books, we wonder. Swamiji's disciple Sharat Chandra Chakraborty wrote, in knowledge, he was like Shankara. In large-heartedness, he was like Buddha. In devotion, he was like Narada. In the knowledge of Brahman, he was like Shukadeva. In debate, in argumentation, he was like Brihaspati. In beauty, physical beauty, he was like Kamadeva. In bravery, he was like Arjuna. In the knowledge of the scriptures, he was like Bhasha. When we go through his life and his works, we find what a great achievement he made in his life. It is a wonder. Second, Vivekananda was a rishi. Rishi means the seer of truth. He spoke the truth, he practiced the truth, and he did not compromise with any kind of falsehood. He said, truth is my God, the universe, my country. I have a truth to teach, I, the child of God. God and are the only politics in the world. Everything else is trash. It is better to die on the field of duty, preaching the truth, than to die like a worldly worm. Truth never comes when lust and fame and greed of gain reside. Man of truth. That means he was a rishi. His mind and his speech are united. Rishi. Sri Ramakrishna had a vision of Ramakrishna. He was meditating in the Saptarshi Mandala, one of the 7 sages. He embraced one of those sages and said, I am going to the world. You will have to come with me to fulfill my mission. And that sage was Vivekananda. When you study a person's life, you will have to watch from his birth to death what kind of person he was. When he was a little boy, his play was meditation. When he was a teenager boy, he was going to Raipur with his family. He was lying down in a bullock cart, seeing a beehive. He lost outer consciousness, thinking of the Creator. He mentioned, this is the first time I lost outer consciousness. When he was a young man, youth, 20 years old, he had Nirvikalpa Samadhi in Kashipur Garden House. When he was traveling in India, in Nainital, he had again a great spiritual experience, which he wrote in his diary. Today I solved one of the greatest problem of human life. I experienced the microcosm and macrocosm are built in the same pattern. What is inside, that is outside. Then he came to America. He told his disciple, Sharat Chandra Chakraborty, one day I was seated on the shore in Chicago on the Lake Michigan. All of a sudden, my mind began to vanish and merged into cosmic consciousness. I experienced that Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So when I go to Chicago and pass through the Lakeshore Drive, I remember that Swamiji had Samadhi here. Then in Camp Percy, New Hampshire, on the coast of the Lake Christine, Swamiji again had that Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Another time at Thousand Island Park, he had that Nirvikalpa Samadhi. We still go there. It is under an oak tree on the big piece of rock. In front is the St. Lawrence River. I went there several times. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. There he stayed 7 weeks in 1895. Then he gave up his body through meditation. He was a rishi. The third point comes to my mind, Vivekananda was a prophet. If the prophet speaks by divine inspiration and also predicts the future. It was in December 1894. Swamiji was in Brooklyn, Ethical Society. He was giving a lecture there. And he said, I have a message to the West as Buddha had a message to the East. What was his message? Vedanta. The ancient religion of the Vedas, the Upanishads, which is universal. No doctrine, no dogma. Sometimes those who are new and Western people, we tell them the 4 tenets of Vedanta. First, the divinity of human beings. You are divine. Each person is carrying that consciousness. That is God, that is Brahman, Chetanananda. Second, oneness of existence. The golden rule of all religions are based on this oneness of existence. By hurting you, I am hurting myself. All religions teach that. But very few people practice that. That is the golden rule. Third, oneness of Godhead that we have seen. Truth is one, sages call it by various names. Ekang Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. It is from the Rig Veda. Fourth, harmony of relations. Different religions are like different rivers, but all merge to the ocean. Those are the 4 great tenets of Vedanta philosophy. Swamiji wrote to Ala Singh Perumal in Madras, all of religions is contained in the Vedanta, that is, in the three stages of Vedanta philosophy, the Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita and Advaita. One comes after the other. These are the three stages of spiritual growth in man. Each one is necessary. That is the essential of religion. Let me give an example, you will understand what Swamiji meant. You take pictures of the sun in the morning, at noon, in the evening. All pictures will be different. But you are taking the picture of the same sun. So all these religious views, they're all taking the pictures of the same sun. And they think, you took morning picture, you say, this is the truth. I took noon picture, I say, this is the truth. And the person who took the picture in the evening, he says, this is the truth. So we are all fighting. But we are taking picture of the same sun. That Swamiji said. He wrote to Mary Hell on 3rd January 1895. I have a message, and I will give it after my own fashion. I will neither Hinduize my message, nor Christianize, nor make it any eyes in the world. I will only my-ize it, and that's all. It is not Swami Vivekananda's ego. He was an universal man, and he experienced that Brahman, which broke all barriers. He was teaching the truth, which has no boundary, beyond time, or any limitation of sect or religion. Prophet. A prophet always predicts. Swamiji predicted the next great upheaval, which is to bring about a new epoch, will come from Russia or China. I can't quite see, but it will be either Russia or China. Again, he said, it was in 1897, the whole of the Western world is on the edge of a volcano, which may burst tomorrow, go to pieces tomorrow, unless the fire are extinguished by a flood of spirituality. It will blow up. That happened. We've encountered 2 great world wars in Europe. He is a prophet. In Shillong, I went there in 1982. He was gasping, he had some asthma. He mentioned that it does not matter, I have given up enough for 1500 years to thinking humanity, that I told you earlier. And in Belur Math one day he said, I can see what will happen next 500 to 700 years. This is the nature of a prophet. Those are the 3 my introductory points. Now I shall tell you more about Swamiji. How he looked. What was his appearance? Let us look at him. His complexion was quite fair for a Hindu, with a little golden tinge. He had luminous eyes, lotus petal eyes, as we say in India, and beautifully formed lips, a powerful jaw, and well-proportioned body. You know, I have a big volume of reminiscences of Vivekananda. Every person mentioned about his eyes, protruding eyes. When he would sleep, his eyelids will not close, his eyes. It's so big. And fascinating, mesmerizing eyes. You read every reminiscences, you will find somebody mentioned about his eyes. Padma Palasha Lochana, very long eyes of a yogi, a little reddish color. And jaw. Swamiji used to say, my jaw is a Mongolian jaw. Do you know what the Mongolian jaw is? Squarish. Some people say the jaw you will find sharp. And some people's jaw is like a square. But those who have Mongolian jaw, they have bulldog tenacity. what they hold, they do not give up. Swamiji had Mongolian jaw. If you see his picture, you will find the squarish, with tremendous strength inside. Mongolian jaw. He was not very tall, maybe 5 feet, 9 inches, like that. And leaned towards stoutness, but he was very majestic. He moved like a lion, particularly on the platform. The grace of his movement and his majesty gave many people to feeling that he was much taller than anyone around him. When Swamiji was in France, Mr. Legate's cook used to call him, "You are a prince." Swamiji said, No, I am a beggar monk. No, you are a prince. I am a cook of all the dignitaries and the prince and princess and queens in Europe. Your manner, your behavior, your movement looks like you are a prince. Mrs. Betty Legate mentioned, I have seen 2 real regal persons in my life. One is German Emperor Kaiser, another is Swami Vivekananda. Sometimes one's mind gets caught up with the mental state of a person, and that person's body becomes, as it were, transformed. It is said his hair was jet black, not a single gray hair. When he arrived in Los Angeles, he needed a haircut. But the meat sister said, "You have such beautiful curly hair, we should hate to see it cut." So the Swami left it as it was. Some of the most beautiful photographs of him were taken in San Francisco, and they show his hair somewhat long, wavy, parted in the middle. That is a look. He sometimes say, my pre-monastic name is Narendra. Nara means human beings. Indra means king. King among men. Narendra. Dress, his clothes are black trousers and a long gown-like coat according to Indian style, which we brought the second time he came to America for common use. On the platform and for formal occasions, he wore a turban and a long robe tied with a sash. He used to carry them to lectures in a suitcase. His robe was a shade between orange and yellow, but he did not care whether or not his turban matched it. I have seen among his effects, as they are kept in our monastery turbans of different colors, some light salmon, others orange. As he spoke, his face, I have heard, would become animated, shining, and it blended wonderfully with his robe. Problem? Timing. One rather irritating trait of his, but so sweet in him, was that he had no sense of time. If he was told he would miss a streetcar, he would say, "Don't hurry me. There will be another, won't there?" Sometimes in the lecture, he was 1 hour late. Mr. Allen would remind him, "Swamiji, we are late." Let me shine my shoe first, then I shall go to the lecture. "Swami, we are late." Mr. Allen, you live in time, but we live in eternity. That is all right with you, Swami. But the American audience, perhaps Swamiji wanted to test this audience, whether they are genuine or not. Those who are sincere, they will stay. Some said, when I came to know him, I felt as if I had been waiting for him through the ages, and now I had found him. He was beyond time, beyond space, an illumined soul. His voice was very sweet. The manager of one of the halls where he spoke said, I have heard many speakers, but never have I listened to such a sweet voice. It was between baritone and tenor, with a bell-like quality, not loud or powerful, and yet it could command a large audience. You will have to understand, at that time there was no loudspeaker, no microphone. 4,000-5,000 people you will have to speak with open voice. Not an easy job. I think I read in Roma Roland's book, his voice was like violoncello, baritone, very sweet, very resonant. The Swami here mentioned, it was between baritone and tenor, and a bell-like quality, not loud or powerful. When he would recite Sanskrit verses, as he often did in course of a lecture, quoting from the Gita or the Upanishads in illustration of his arguments, he would intone them, as is customary in India, and then translate them. I have heard to listen to his Sanskrit recitation was one of the most beautiful experiences one could have. His pronunciation of English was perfect, with no foreign accent except for one or two words, and of course his devotees delighted in those variations. The person we love, we like to know his everything. Mrs. Mary Funky, who was a devotee of Swamiji in Detroit, wrote in her reminiscences, the large edifice was literally packed in Detroit, Unitarian Church. Packed, and the Swami received an ovation. I can see him, yet as he stepped up the platform, a regal, majestic figure, vital, forceful, dominant, and at the first sound of the wonderful voice, a voice of all music, now like the plaintive minor strain of an Aeolian harp, again deep, vibrant, resonant. There was a hush, a stillness that could almost be felt, and the vast audience breathed as one man. Wonderful. I am really blessed that I met two disciples of Swami Vivekananda. Brahmachari Gyan Maharaj in Belur Math and Bhakta Raj Maharaj Swami Sada Shivananda in Advaita Ashrama, Calcutta. And of course I met some monks who saw Swamiji, such as Swami Shankarananda, Swami Vireshwarananda, Swami Yogeshwarananda, Swami Satprakashananda, Swami Atulananda, Mohanlal Shah, Brahmachari Gyan Maharaj. He was born in 1876, died in 1963. When we are brahmacharis in Advaita Ashrama, every Sunday we used to go to Belur Math. After visiting the temples, we used to go to Gyan Maharaj's room and bow down to him, that Swami in his 90s. And he would greet us, Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. That is the way he used to greet people. I bow down to Sri Ramakrishna. And he used to address everybody apni, never to me or to you. He is 93 years old and I was a little brahmachari. Well, why do you do that? Well, because God dwells in you, I must respect you. You know how we can learn from these people. Never neglect human beings. He loved young. Yesterday I was very much moved reading his reminiscences about Swamiji, which was published in 1942. I wanted to translate it into English, which is so moving, I cannot tell you. He loved young people. Many young boys would come to him and he would inspire them, talking about Swamiji. He got initiation from Swamiji, but Swamiji said, you will never get sannyas. You will be an ideal model of Noistic Brahmachari, a Brahmachari with unbroken chastity. You will be the role model. But you put on ochre cloth. You are a Brahmachari, you have not taken sannyas, but you must put on ochre cloth. That is the way we used to see him. He used to talk to us. After Premananda's passing away, he was a priest in Belur Math, in the shrine. Then he was a manager, taking care of food for the devotees. Somebody asked, what is religion? Then he said, religion is that thing which has no adulteration. You are familiar with adulterated food, adulterated medicine, adulterated so many things in India. And we sometimes used to make a joke. Even in India, if you take potassium cyanide, you will not die. Because it is adulterated. But only God has no adulteration. God is truth. That is dharma. To know God, to realize God, that is dharma. We are, so many days have passed in our lives, still we could not achieve anything. Do you have any suggestion? I have only two suggestions. Upekha or apekha. Ignore and wait. Ignore means don't think that you have lost so much time in your life that you did not make any effort to realize God. Ignore it. Just start from today. Begin today. And apekha, wait. As Swamiji used to say, wait. You will see the light. Somebody asked, what is the necessity of a guru? He said, if you want to see the owner of a company, you go to that company, then the gatekeeper, you go and ask the gatekeeper, I want to see the owner. Then you go inside, then you will find the inquiry office, they will ask, I want to meet the owner. Then you go further, then the secretary, you ask the secretary that I want to see the owner. In this way, inquiring several people, finally you meet the owner of the company. That is the reason we need a guru who can show you where the guru is, where God is. Anyhow, his reminiscences are beautiful. One day I shall try to translate it. Next is Sadashivananda. He was born in 1878 and died in July 1960 in Varanasi. He met Swami Vivekananda in 1901. He was a Ramanuji devotee, a big mark. In India, in South, you will find those who are Vaishnavites, their marks are from up to down to up. And those who are Shaivites, they are this side to this side. That is, seeing the mark of the forehead, you know whether he is a Vaishnava or whether he is a Shaivite. So he is a Ramanuja, from here to here, big mark. So seeing him, he say, oh, you are a Bhaktaraj. Bhaktaraj means you are the king of the devotees, you know. So that is the way he got his name, Bhaktaraj. So we used to call him Bhaktaraj Maharaj. Swamiji just told him, oh, seeing your mark, it seems that you are a Bhaktaraj. Swamiji initiated him. He worked in the Ramakrishna Mission Home of Service, Varanasi. There we used to pick up poor people, sick people, dying people and serve them. He traveled 40 years all over India and disseminated the Swamiji's ideas, Swamiji's teachings to the people. He was a very humble person. One day, he had some arthritis. He could not bend his knee. He came to Swamiji. Swamiji said, "Come, bow down to me." Other days he said, "No, you will not have to bow down. Bow down to me." Then Swami Shivananda said, "Maharaj, Swamiji, he had knee problem." No. It will be cured. Bow down to me. He just fell flat at Swamiji's feet. But he intentionally did it so that he will be cured forever. He is not an ordinary guru. Then one evening in Banaras, a theosophist doctor came to Swamiji. "Swamiji, you are such a great person, but Mrs. Annie Besant, the theosophist leader, is in town. He did not come to greet you or anybody." He was a theosophist, he was trying to tease Swamiji or whatever was in mind. Swamiji said, "You know, you Indians are now the Westerners are the guru of your every respect. Only religion was left. That also you are making many Annie Besant is your guru. Is there any shortage of religious leaders in India?" Then Swamiji became very excited and he said, "You know, I have a power. I can bring Annie Besant and all Benares people this very night at my feet. But I shall not do it. I don't like to use my power unnecessarily. My health is not good. I have come here to take rest." Then the doctor apologized. Another beautiful story we found in his collection. Swamiji was in Darjeeling, went for a vacation. He was not well. A Bhutia woman was carrying a heavy load of firewood to sell in the market. And that path was not even. So she stumbled and fell with her wood, and she got it. That rib cage, there was a chest. She hurt on her chest. Swamiji cried out, "Oof, pain! I have chest pain." It shows ekatmanhuti. That girl's pain came in Swamiji's body. That shows that he was a Nwara Brahman. Then I met Swami Shankaranandaji, who was my guru. He was a nephew of Swamiji's first disciple, Swami Sadananda. He saw Swamiji in 1897 in Dakshineshwar, when Swamiji came to give a talk, and several times in Belur Math. Then he joined in the monastery in 1902. Swami Bireshwaranandaji told us, I remember, when he was 5 years old, Swamiji it was in 1897, in Madras, in Castle Karnan. There Swamiji was staying, and Swami Bireshwaranandaji's uncle took this 5 years old boy to show Swamiji. And he bowed down. Then he said, "I don't remember, but I am definite Swamiji saw me. I cannot tell you that I saw him because I don't remember, but Swamiji definitely saw me. My uncle took me to Swamiji." Then we met Swami Yogishanandaji, Opuda Maharaj. He was a young boy, heard Swami Vivekananda's lecture in 1901 in Jagannath College in Dhaka. Swamiji gave a lecture, "What I have learned." That was the topic. Well, I asked Swamiji, what a great, powerful speaker he was. That he told us. Of course, Swami Satprakashananda, who was the founder of this center, met Swamiji 3 times in Dhaka in 1901. His reminiscences we have published, you will see. Then I met Swami Atulananda in 1959, just as before I joined the monastery in Concord, in Hardwar. He met Swamiji in New York in 1899. He wrote his impression in his With the Swamis in America. I shall read to you. Swamiji was so simple in his behavior, so like one of the crowd, that he did not impress me so much when I first saw him. There was nothing about his ways that would mark him as the lion of New York society, as so often he had been. Simple in dress and behavior, he was just like one of us. He did not put himself aside on a pedestal, as is so often the case with lionized personages. He walked about the room, sat on the floor, laughed, joked, chatted, nothing formal. Of course, I had noticed his magnificent, brilliant eyes, his beautiful features, and majestic bearing. For these were parts of him that no circumstances could hide. But when I saw him for a few minutes standing on a platform surrounded by others, it flashed into my mind. What a giant, what strength, what manliness, what a personality. Everyone near him looked so insignificant compared with him. It came to me almost as a shock. It seemed to startle me. What was it that gave Swamiji this distinction? Was it his height? No. There are gentlemen there taller than he was. Was it his build? No. There were near him some very fine specimens of American manhood. It seemed to be more in the expression of the face than anything else. Was it his purity? What was it? I could not analyze it. I remembered what had been said of Lord Buddha, a lion amongst men. I felt that Swamiji had unlimited power, that he could move heaven and earth if he willed it. This was my strongest and lasting impression of him. You know, later on, Swamiji was asked, I said, Swamiji, when you said Sisters and Brothers of America in Chicago, did you do any kind of magic or anything like that? Swamiji smiled and said, no. Then how did you impress these 5,000 people? You see, from my childhood, I am pure. Through my mind, no bad thoughts could cross. My purity overwhelmed this audience. They saw God is pure. That purity overwhelmed them. He told more about this purity. All power comes from purity, renunciation. I met 2 women in America who met Swami Vivekananda. Mrs. Frances Leggett was the daughter of Mr. Francis Leggett, and Miss Catherine Whitmarsh, grandniece of Mr. Leggett. We called her Prasanna. His father was Theodore Whitmarsh, who was Mr. Leggett's sister's son. She used to live in Santa Barbara, just opposite to our Santa Barbara temple. I was there for 7 years, from 71 to 78. She used to attend my lectures and classes. When I was in Hollywood, I had several correspondences with Mrs. Leggett, and she gave me many letters of their family. She had a plan to edit Swami Vivekananda's letters. Christopher Isherwood wrote the foreword, but it was not published. I met her in Ridgely in 1976. You can see her picture and with me in our website. Swami Vivekananda was present in her parents' marriage in American church in Paris. I visited that church with Swami Vivekananda in 1971. Mrs. Frances Leggett wrote a book, Late and Soon, where we find some new stories of Swamiji with their family. Frances Leggett married David Murchison, the royal family in England. He was the war minister during the Second World War. Our son is Frank Murchison, still alive in Ridgely. She died in 1977. I wrote a condolence letter to her son that, when she was born in 1896, Swamiji blessed when she was 4 years old in 1899 when Swamiji was in Ridgely. Swamiji wanted to put his two hands on her head and said, and blessed her. So I wrote to her son that, you will not have to worry about your mother. Swamiji told Swami Swarupananda, Swarup, on whose head I put my hand, that person will not have to think after life. So he sent my letter to his sister in England. Her husband is the private secretary of Queen Elizabeth. Her name is Gay. Gay wrote me a letter, Swami, I am so happy to receive your letter which my brother sent to me. And I went to see my mother when she was in the hospital. And I saw a book which you gave to her, Meditation and its Methods, under her pillow. How Swamiji's touch, Swamiji's love continued in the lives of these people. They are very top people in America. Prasanna, Catherine Whitmers, never married, was born in 1897. She met Swami Vivekananda in Ridgely when she was 2.5 years old. Before her passing away, I took a tape recorder and recorded all her reminiscences about Swamiji. I have the tape. She said that, Swami, I don't remember everything, but my mother told me, myself and my brother Carl, who was 1 year older than me, and we all children used to run in the Ridgely, and Swamiji used to run with us, and sometimes he used to give us coin. Let us compete that who can run fast. That person will get this coin. So we are little kids, we used to run and run with Swamiji. How Swamiji played with these children. He used to play golf with Hollister, Mr. Leggett's, Mrs. Leggett's son by first marriage. Hollister, I met his son. Like, Swamiji bet that could you hit this ball in that hole? Swamiji, of course I can. Bet 50 cents. You will have to pay. So, Swamiji never played golf. He took the band and hit the ball and it went into the hole. He said, what is the matter? I thought that I shall win 50 cents from you and you want now 50 cents. Swamiji said, Hall, listen, I am a yogi. Whatever I say, that thing happens. And moreover, I need some money. I just came from India. I have no money. I need 50 cents, you see. Swamiji was so funny. Prasanna told me that one day Swamiji was telling his father, I shall die soon. Why, Swamiji, you are so young? No. I must go back to India and I shall die there. Swamiji, if you die, then you make a will. I have nothing. I am a poor monk. but you have your books. Then Swamiji said, all right, you make the will, I shall sign it. And that is the way Swamiji signed his will. I met Mohanlal Shah, who met Swami Vivekananda 4 times in Almora and Mayavati. I met him on 16th October 1970 at Lohagat. I was then in Mayavati. He was 93 years old. You see, Prabhupada Bharata was started in Mayavati Ashrama, and this man was the composer, means typesetter and printer. And Swamiji he told me, Swamiji wrote 2 articles in Mayavati. One on Aryans and the chameleons. Second, on the Theosophists. And I composed the articles and gave to him, he read. And one day, Mrs. Xavier requested Swamiji to give a lecture. So in the living room, Swamiji gave a lecture. 9 or 10 people are there. But I heard his voice. What a power! I could not follow everything, but I saw his majesty and how he is walking and lecturing. You see, first 2 days from Mayavati is 65 miles interior of the Himalayas, near Tibetan border, China's border, Pithoragarh district. So, 2 days very cold. Swamiji went there in January 3rd. 15 days he stayed there. So he then, after 2 days, he used to sleep near our fireplace. I put that picture, it is a beautiful place. Then one day, Sharupananda asked him, we do not have any vegetable. Could you bring some vegetables? So I went to a nearby village, which is the Kumayun range, mountain range, winter time, covered with snow. Well, I found a banana tree, which has a mocha, that banana flower, and inner stalk. That is, you can make good vegetables out of it. Well, I cut a banana tree and brought for Swamiji. He used to tell all the stories about it. My goodness. I had a desire to collect Swami Vivekananda's photos. Now we have 95 photographs of Swamiji. And we produced a pictorial on Swamiji, Vivekananda East meets West. That is one of the classics, I tell you frankly. I met a man in 1963 in Calcutta. He came and told me he bought 75 photographs of Swamiji and framed them on the wall. Well, I'm an old man, I cannot meditate, so I go in front of each photograph and just stand 1 minute. That is the way I get 75 minutes meditation. Very good way to, well, when I see Swamiji. I had a great desire to collect Swamiji's voices of these who met Swami Vivekananda. As a result, we have collected the voices of Miss MacLeod, Cornelia Conger, Lillian Montgomery, Madame Calvé, Catherine Whitmers, Swami Shat Prakashananda. All these voices, we put them together and made the DVD. Vivekananda as we saw him, we sell it. That pictorial and the DVD. It came from my research. It is 90 minutes, you can really enjoy that DVD. I had a desire to see the places where Swami Vivekananda went and lived in this country. I went to the Hales House, which is 541 Dearborn Avenue in Chicago. In 1972, when I went, the house was not there. It is an empty parking lot. Later, when I went, I found it is 22-story apartment building complex. Swami Vaishyanandaji tried to buy it, but he could not have money to get it. Of course, I visited Art Institute, Chicago several times, Lincoln Park, where Swamiji used to sit. And East Coast, I visited Annisquam, Breezy Meadows, which owned by Catherine Sanborn, Greenacre, Camp Percy. Thousand Island Park, Ridgely. I shall tell you two stories of Ridgely. In 1899, when Swamiji came, Mrs. Leggett made two beds for Swamiji and Turiyananda in a room. In the morning, when Mrs. Leggett came, found Swami Turiyananda's mattress is on the floor. She said, Swami, is there anything wrong? No, there is nothing wrong. Then why are you on the floor? You see, Mrs. Leggett, I cannot sleep in the same level with Swamiji. How much love and respect the disciples of Ramakrishna had for Swamiji. He was the leader. I cannot sleep in the same level with Swamiji. So I slept on the floor. Another story I remember, it must be in 1972 when I first visited Ridgely. Yes, it was in 72. I met Paul Sturgis. Paul was the son of Hollister. He told me a funny story. One day my father saw Swamiji was meditating in front of the fireplace. And he was laughing very loudly. Hollister was a young boy, teenager boy. He said, Swamiji, why are you laughing? Oh, God is such a funny person, I cannot tell you. He told me this story. I passed that story to Gargi, Mary Louise Park. She added that thing in her book. In the West Coast, of course, in Pasadena House, which now belongs to, it is a historical landmark now. 309 Montreaty Road, Pasadena. It now belongs to the Vedanta Society of Southern California. I used to go there when I was there. It's a beautiful place. That Swamiji's room is still there. Swamiji's footprint is there. That place is now a shrine. Pasadena House. Then I saw the picnic place where Swamiji used to go for picnic. Then, of course, in San Francisco, I went to Camp Taylor, Camp Arvin, where Swamiji went for camping. You will find those stories in the reminiscences of Swamiji. Golden Gate Park. He was a lover of humanity. Finally, I shall tell you, Swamiji scolded them whom he loved most. Religion is the manifestation of the perfection already in human beings. He was perfect. And he wanted that everyone should be perfect. He could not bear imperfection. That is the reason he scolded and sometimes lost temper. But there is no ill feeling or animosity in it. He scolded the Western people. He scolded the Indians. He said, I love the Yankees. Again, he criticized their materialistic outlook. He said, go back to Christ. You are not Christians. Go back to him who has nowhere to lay his head. Yours in religion preached in the name of luxury. If the nation is going to live, go back to him who cannot serve. You cannot serve God and mammon at the same time. Better be ready to live in rags with Christ in the street than to live in palace without him. In the Madison Square Garden, Swamiji attacked this materialistic outlook of the West. And next day there was a big article in New York Times. Swamiji cried when he read it, that my Guru never criticized anybody, and I criticized it. I am not fit to teach my Guru's message. Swamiji told in San Francisco, if you want to be religious, enter not the gate of any organized religions. They do 100 times more evil than good. because they stop growth of each one's individual development. Listening to Swamiji's, Mr. Francis Legate every year used to give $10,000 to Christian missionaries. But after hearing Swamiji's lecture, they stopped. They did not give any money. He was very harsh to the Indians. He saw majority of the Indians are submerged in tamas, inertia, and they pretend that they are spiritual. They are tied with social religious cults. He said, those who profess and talk of religion nowadays in this country, the majority are full of morbidity, crack-brained or fanatic. Without development of an abundance of rajas, you have hopes neither in this world nor in the next. And your bhoga, enjoyment, consists in lying on a ragged bed in a muggy room, multiplying progeny even every year like pig, begetting a band of famished beggars and slaves. Be energetic and active. Work, work, work. Nanna panta vidyate ayanayo. There is no other way. Swamiji, if you read the Swami Shishya Sangvad, the conversations with Swami Vivekananda, you will find how Swamiji scolded the Indians. And at the same time, it is not a negative way, positive. Again, he says, this is the way you can rouse this country, you can regenerate India. Evar Kendra Bharat Varsha. This is the time India would be the focal point. Swamiji said that. So, I told you in 1 hour, today is Swamiji's birthday, very auspicious day. Thank you very much. Paratatte sadalino Ramakrishna samagaya yu dharma sthapana ratu virisham tam namamyaham. I bow down to Vivekananda, the Lord among men, whose mind was always absorbed in the supreme reality, and he was engaged in establishing the eternal religion according to the guidance of Sri Ramakrishna. May Swamiji bless us and guide us. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Peace, peace, peace be unfold.